Are you familiar with psychosocial theory of development? Are you aware how these stages affects our growth? If you say no, well, this is your time to learn about the stages of development proposed by one of the psychologists named Erikson. Good day, everyone. This is Christine Jane. Get ready to gain another knowledge by exploring one of the theories. Erik Hamburger Erikson was born on June 15 in the year 1902. He was born in Frankfurt, Germany. He was an American and a German at the same time. He proposed the developmental psychologist and psychoanalysis. He was died on May 12, 1994. He quoted that the personality is engaged with the hazard of existence continuously, even as the body's metabolism copes with decay. The first stage is the trust versus mistrust. Trust versus mistrust is the first stage in Erikson's theory of psychosocial development. This stage begins at birth and continues to approximately 18 months of age. During this stage, the infant is uncertain about the world in which they live and looks toward with their primary caregiver for stability and consistency of care. So in this stage, success will lead to the virtue of hope. By developing a sense of trust, the infant can have hope that as new crises arise, there is a real possibility that other people will be there as a source of support. The next stage would be the autonomy versus shame and doubt. Autonomy versus shame and doubt is the second stage of Erikson's stage of psychosocial development. This stage occurs between the age of 18 months to approximately 3 years old. According to Erikson, children at this stage are focused on developing a sense of personal control over physical skills and a sense of independence. So the success in this stage will lead to the virtue of will. If children in this stage are encouraged and supported in their increased independence, they become more confident and secure on their own ability to survive in the world. The third stage would be the initiative versus guilt. During the initiative versus guilt stage, children assert themselves more frequently through directing play and other social interaction. A healthy balance between initiative and guilt is important. The success in this stage will lead to the virtue of purpose, while failure results in a sense of guilt. The fourth stage will be the industry versus inferiority. Children are at the stage where they will be learning to read and write, to do sums, and to do things on their own. Teachers begin to take an important role in the child's life as they teach the child specific skills. Some failure may be necessary so that the child can develop some modesty. Again, a balance between competence and modesty is necessary. Success in this stage will lead to the virtue of competence. The fifth stage would be the identity versus role confusion. During adolescence, the transition from childhood to adulthood is most important. Children are becoming more independent and begin to look at the future in terms of career, relationships, families, housing, and etc. The individual wants to belong to a society and fit in. Erikson claims that the adolescent stage may feel uncomfortable about their body for a while until they can adapt and grow into the changes. The success that is built in this stage would be the virtue of fidelity. The sixth stage would be the intimacy versus isolation. Intimacy versus isolation is a theory that takes place during young adulthood between the ages of approximately 18 years to 40 years. In this stage, the major conflict centers on forming intimate, loving relationships with other people. Avoiding intimacy, fearing commitment, and relationships can lead to isolation, loneliness, and sometimes depression. The success that builds in this stage would be the virtue of love. Let us proceed to the seventh stage of Erikson, which is the generativity versus stagnation. Generativity versus stagnation is a stage that takes place during middle adulthood at ages 40 to 65 years. Psychologically, generativity refers to making your mark on the world through creating or nurturing things that will outlast an individual. During middle age, individuals experience a need to create or nurture things that will outlast them, often having maintenance or creating positive changes that will benefit other people. These individuals may feel disconnected or uninvolved with their community and with society as a whole. The success that was built in this stage would be the virtue of care. Finally, the ego integrity versus despair. Ego integrity versus despair is a stage that begins at approximately 65 and ends at death. It is during this time that we contemplate our accomplishments and can develop integrity if we see ourselves as leading successful life. So the success that was built in this stage will be the virtue of wisdom. Wisdom enables a person to look back on their life with a sense of closure and completeness, and also it accepts that death without fear. So that would be all about Erikson's 8 stages of psychosocial development. I hope that you learned something about this video and see you on my next video. Thank you for watching.